Hello everyone, welcome to Learning from Home channel. Now in this video we are going to talk about logical function, two logical functions. That is one is not function and the two is if error function. Now what is not function? Now not function is simply the opposite of the test or the function or the formula. So let's see the opposite. So that's a not function, the opposite. So we have a Boolean expression here. This is a Boolean type. That is a data type. We have data and you have the not function. So this data type, you see we have Boolean data type. And that is either true or false. So that's the data. Now another not function, we are going to talk about the opposite because not. So not of this is the opposite. So it's the opposite of this one. So we are now finding the opposite of this and the opposite of that as well. That is a not function. So how do you do that? Now just click where you want to and let's type in equal to, that is a not function. So equal to not function. Alright, then this. Okay, so you can see now the opposite of true is what? Is false. So that is a not function. So not it simply means the opposite of the data what you have was there. So you see now I type in not and then this cell, that's a G19 and it gives you true and false because the opposite of true is false. So what do you think will be here? That is so opposite of false is going to be what? True. Let's try that and see. So equal to not and then this cell. Oh, okay, it didn't type it well. Let's do it again. Okay, so that is and it's for this cell. Okay, so we see the opposite of false is true. Okay, so that is a Boolean expression and that is a not function. So not simply means the opposite. So you can use this when at least during creating a table and you want to just fish out or you want to just figure out a specific data, you can use this not function to do that. Now let's go to the second one, that is the if error function. Now if error function. Now example of an error is, you see you have this as an error. When you type in any code, example, when you type in any code and you get an error, maybe you see this is an error because this is not device, it is not accurate. You can say equal to GH / divided by 4. It's an error. Okay, so when that happens, you get this error message. But we want to now write if this is an error. We want to specify the type of error it is. Or we want to show something, some data or some text. Instead of having this error message, this has name and the question mark. So you want to override this in this type or in this table, so we may have a different error text instead of having this. So instead of having this, you have a different text here altogether. Now how can we do that? So we are going to use the if error. If error. So you have data type here, you have data, you have the if error function. So now the data type, you have text, we have number, we have Boolean, and you have the error. These are all data types in the Excel. Now under text, we have learn from home, and you have here the number is what? Thousands. Because this is a test, we have numbers 1000. Boolean, we have true or false. Then we have the error. So this error, this is a code, that's a df/78. That's a df divided by 78. And you can see we still have an error. You can still add more under the error. You can have so let's say we have so 78. Okay, so let's say equal to min equal to max. Okay, you still have this equal to min. You still have error. So these are all errors. Okay, so now we are going to Now find the if error function. So in order to do that, we're going to use equal to if error function is here. So if error function. So if error function okay, so if error function this, you must first, oh I forgot the equal sign. Okay, so equal sign if error function. Okay, now you're going to have this as the first one. So if this is wrong, or if this is an error, comma, then what is the message that you want it to overwrite? Instead of having this error message here, what can we use to override that? So let's say you can write the data type test is an error, right? Okay, we can write data type test here is an error. Then let's hit on the enter key. Okay, so since it is not error, that's how you see it over here. So with this, we can just you can just copy this. Now with this, you can paste it over here. So you can paste it here. Let's start and enter and see. Okay, so you know what we can do? Let's take it off. Now with this, we can still drag to bring it here. So instead of here making it the test here, data type, so we have the error. Okay, you have the error here. So you can just drag it to this side. So you can see that instead of having this error message, now we've overwritten, right? And now we have this message instead of that. So let's pick an example. We can just decide to, when we have okay, so when we have no message here, you can see now it's going to clear. It's going to clear this. So you can see that we have this empty. So there is no message here. So it's going to replace it by empty space over here, as found here. Replace it with this. Okay, and normally this is an error message, and we are now replacing it with this. So you can see that instead of having, let's say, when you're just creating document or having a table and you have an error message in, you have an error data in it, instead of just showing this error code or this error message, you can just override the error message and just add it to what you want, or just add what you want to the error message as well. So instead of having this hash name and question mark, you're now having the data type error is an error, right? This is the data type error. This error is an error. Okay. So instead of having this, we've now we've overwritten it, and now we have this. Okay, so that is a way to. So you can see now this. You can override this, and now you can get this. How can you override this? Now let's have equal to if error. Okay, so if error, just select this and now open and see. So if error, now comma, now what do you want to replace with the error? Okay, so you can write this is an error. You are done. Then hit the enter key. Now you will have this. So instead of having this, let me increase the size. So instead of having this error here, you now have this test in replace of this error. So let's say we have table. See, now when you have table and you have different errors, when you have table and you have values in the table, you may have different errors. Now when you have different errors, let's say when they give you everything, all the time they give you this. They give you this. It becomes very difficult for you to identify the type of error it is. So when you have this, it's going to help you to actually identify the type of error that you're just working on. Let's try an example with that and let's see. So let's see now, we are dividing this DE divide by 0. Okay, and here you're not having error. Let's bring in, okay, so equal to minimum, right? Minimum, you have error. Equal to maximum, we have error. Now equal to average, we have error here. So now let's code this. Let's use the if error function to just identify the type of error that you are getting. Now this is minimum, right? Okay, so you're going to type in if error, forgot to bring the equal to, so equal to if error. Okay, now with this you're going to choose this first one, then command, then you're going to type in, minimum. So min is an error. Okay, so you are done with this. Now you can just copy this, copy it, enter. Now instead of having this, you can just place it here, view. Now this is maximum, so you're going to write here maximum, so max. And now you're going to the same, I'm going to place it here, back, so view. Then here is average, AVG. Okay, now enter. So instead of this, you can see now with this you can change it to this. Now, and with this you can change this to this. So now you can see that, okay, so you can see that we have one error message here. Now this one error message. Now this one error message, but each error message contains a specific function that you wanted to do. Now you can see this was equal to minimum, and we had the same error message, this error message. Now this is equal to maximum, but we had the same message, and this is equal to what? Average, but we had the same message. You can see that all the errors here, they have one message. So if you want to split them to know the type of error that you are getting, that is where you can use the if error function. So you can see now minimum is the error. So when you see this, you can see that, okay, fine, now this is the minimum. Now maximum, you can see it's from the maximum, and average is for the average. So if error is very useful in order to identify the type of error in your table or in your data that you're working on. I hope it's clear now. Alright, so you can just go over and over again to get the understanding. Okay, thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.